Okay, let's continue the lecture. So the third topic is Asian financial crisis. So in 1960 and 70s and 80s, so the East Asian economy is called miracle. So the East Asian economic miracle. So because in the 1960s, so the South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore grows high. And also in the 1970s and 1980s, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and China grows rapidly. So these experiences are called East Asian economic miracle. Until the 1990s, East Asian countries finance. So in the East Asian countries, high investment are financed. High investment are financed by the domestic savings. But since the 1990s, foreign loans are increased. So such rapid increase in foreign loans makes current account deficit largely relative to GDP. Then such huge current account deficit is the risk of balance of payment crisis. So this is one opinion. One opinion states that there is a risk of balance of payment crisis due to the high current account deficit relative to GDP in East Asian countries. Or the second opinion is that it's safe. East Asian country is safe because it's huge current account deficit. There is a huge current account deficit, but it's backed by stable economic growth. East Asian country grows rapidly, so the current account deficit is safe. So there are two different arguments. So, but many argued for the latter. So many people think that East Asian countries are safe because this current account deficit is backed by stable economic growth. So this is a major opinion of the at that time. But despite of such optimistic opinion, July 2, 1997, the variation of the Thai baht causes the devaluation of the Thai baht is a trigger, can become the trigger of Asian crisis. So Thailand has large current account deficit. So, for example, it became clear that too many high-rise office buildings had already been built in 1996. So by reflecting such too many high-rise office buildings, real estate and stock markets began to decline. Early early 1997, rumors of baht devaluation led to the increasingly rapid outflow of foreign exchange reserves. Actually, the Thai baht depreciates about 50%, 15% on July 2. So baht depreciates further after the heavy speculation. So baht devaluates on July 2, then heavy speculation occur, then baht depreciates further. The sharp fall of the Thai baht triggers speculation against the currency of neighboring Malaysia. So the Thai baht's default, not default. Thai baht's depreciation. So Thai baht's depreciation causes the another speculation of the Malaysia. So currency attacks also occur not only Malaysia but also Indonesia, South Korea. The investors become worried about, and they Asian countries all vulnerable to the same weaknesses as Thailand. Investors concerned about the weaknesses of Asian countries. And then in the 1997, Japanese economy stagnates. So such stagnation increases, so become such stagnation rises the weak behavior of investors. So such Japanese economy stagnation weakens the global Asian countries' economy, and the investors also worried about the Asian countries' conditions, and then it becomes an Asian financial crisis. Countries affected by the crisis other than Malaysia got the aid from the IMF, loans received in exchange for implementation of economic plans to limit damage. So such economic plan is like as follows. High interest rates to limit exchange rate depreciation, reduction of huge budget deficit, and structural reforms to address weak points, see later, that caused the crisis. But Asian countries faces sharp economic decline despite of its IMF support. So current account balance went from a huge deficit to a huge surplus due to economic contraction reflecting a sharp decrease in imports. Eventually, the decline in the currency weakened and interest rates fell. But spillovers from the East Asian stagflation affected Hong Kong, Singapore, New Zealand, Japan, and even parts of Europe and Latin America. However, China and Taiwan had maintained capital controls and current account surpluses before the crisis. So therefore, such countries, China and Taiwan, were largely unaffected from the Asian financial crisis. Growth in East Asia recovered in 1999 because currency depreciation boosted the exports of East Asian countries. So this is the beginning of the Asian financial crisis and end of the Asian financial crisis. So in fact, Asian countries have some weaknesses. So I introduced 3 weaknesses in Asian countries that caused Asian financial crisis. The first one is productivity. Second one is banking regulation. Third one is legal framework. First one, productivity. Most of Asians' output growth can be explained by production inputs, capital and labor alone. So such countries' growth because the production inputs, capital and labor increased. But productivity, which is output per unit of input, did not grow much. So Asian countries experience rapid growth, but productivity does not grow much. Second weakness is bank regulation. So bank regulation in the Asian countries was poor. So most financial institutions did not have effective government supervision. And also, but Since the most financial institutions did not have effective government supervision, but both domestic and foreign depositors and investors thought that Asian banks were safe. So they considered that if push came to if push came to shave, the government would take care of it. So if banks became not safe, but then the government would take care of the bank. So they believed that. So then moral hazard occur, of course. So such moral hazard is the one cause of Asian financial crisis. Third one is legal framework. No legal framework was in place to deal with defaulting companies after the crisis. Insufficient bankruptcy, so this is due to the insufficient bankruptcy laws. Partially because, so such inefficiency is partially because the growth of the economy means that corporate failures were influent. So there are too few failures to construct sufficient bankruptcy laws. So insufficient bankruptcy laws means that failed companies stopped paying their debts, which meant that no one would lend to them until the remaining debts were paid, bringing their businesses to standstill. And also, creditors had no way to take failed companies from their original owners. So the third one is the lack of legal framework. Okay, so let's move on to the last topic, lessons of developing country crisis. So there are 4 lessons of the developing country crisis. The first one is choosing the right exchange regime, about the exchange regime. And the second one is the central importance of banking. Third one is the proper sequence of reform measures. The fourth is the importance of contagion. First one, choosing the right exchange regime. So a fixed exchange rate regime is dangerous. So this is the lessons from emerging market crisis. East Asian countries show that confidence in official exchange rate targets encouraged borrowing in foreign currency. When devaluation actually occurred, the financial sector and many companies became insolvent due to the large amount of foreign currency debt. So governments should adopt a more flexible exchange rate regime or temporarily fixing the exchange rate to lower inflation expectations to a more flexible system would have prevented the crisis. So this is a better exchange rate regime. The second one is the central importance of banking. So Asian financial crisis is characterized by currency crisis, not only the financial crisis, but also currency crisis and banking crisis. Currency crisis, banking crisis, financial crisis occur the same. So this is Asian financial crisis. So many banks stopped lending and hoarded cash, making it difficult for even profitable companies to borrow. So the effects of bank vulnerability also occurred in crisis in Argentina and other countries in the 1980s. The governments everywhere are expected to put banking system in place to minimize moral hazard and reduce the vulnerability to financial crisis. So this is a government requirement, I guess. The third one is the proper sequence of reform measures. So for example, financial account liberalization and financial sector reform. So it's said to be mistake to liberalize financial accounts before establishing firm safeguards and supervision of domestic financial institutions. So such liberalization before establishing firm safeguards and supervision of domestic financial institutions may lead to a weakness over use of overseas loans. So, therefore, financial account liberalization should be postponed until the domestic financial system is sufficiently strong. So this is a lesson from the developing country crisis. The last one is the importance of contagion. So even seemingly healthy economies are vulnerable to credibility crisis that occur in other countries. So this is called contagion. So for example, Thai baht crash causes Korean crisis, Russian ruble crash, and also Korean crisis and Russian ruble crash causes massive speculation in Brazilian real. So Thai baht crash causes, Thai baht crash affects Brazil. So Thai baht crash spirits have a spillover effect to Brazil. So not only Asian countries, but also Latin American countries like Brazil. So this is contagion. Okay, so this is the end of lecture. So today we covered what are the structural features of developing countries, what is the original thing, how do developing countries finance their investments. So we learned the structural features of developing countries and the concept of original thing. And also we learned the beginning of Asian financial crisis, and we covered the weaknesses of Asian countries that caused the crisis. Also, we learned the lessons from the developing country crisis. Okay. So today is the last lecture. So next Friday is the final exam day. So if you have any questions about lecture, mini test, and the final exam, then please mail to me. Okay. Then do your best. I hope you are good luck. So good luck the final exam. I hope you do the best in the final exam. So thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having this course. I hope you enjoyed all lectures in this course. So take care of because influenza is, so there are so many people caught. There are so many people caught influenza. So flu. Now please take care. And then thank you so much. Bye.